Welcome to Kharis tutorials. I'm Simeon and I'll be making this beautiful blouse in this tutorial. Trust me, any fabric of your choice will be fine, and also plain material will do justice to the style. I'll be using 2.5 yards of Ankara fabric. You might be needing more than that depending on your size. And I'll be adding a peplum to mine. Yours can be a gown as well. It's your choice. So the measurements I'm going to be working with are the underbust, half length, the full length of the blouse, and the shoulder, sleeve, bust circumference, and the underbust circumference measurement. So I won't be showing us how to cut the peplum in this tutorial. In my next video, I'll be showing you different styles of peplum starting from single flay. So let's quickly move to the cutting table. Welcome back. The first thing I'm going to do is folding the fabric, and I'll be folding using the bust circumference measurements divided by 4. Bust is 34, divided by 4 is 8.5 inches, and I'll be adding extra 2 inches to that. That will give us 10.5 inches. Now here is my 10.5 inches. Also, I'm going to add extra 3 inches, so that will give us 13.5 inches, which means I've added my allowance. Now, the bust circumference measurement divided by 4, 8.5 inches, plus 2 inches, which is our allowance, or the same as bust measurement plus 8 divided by 4. Now, I added extra 3 inches, and that's because it's going to be a bustier blouse, and I'm going to be adding, we need extra 2 inches to add to the folding because it's a bustier blouse. Now, the 1 inch allowance, the remaining 1 inch, will serve as our zipper allowance in front. That's the reason for adding that extra 3 inches. So the 3 inches, I'm going to be hiding it first. So that what we have here now is our bust circumference measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches, which is as our allowance. Now I'm going to bring out the length. The length of the blouse is 20 inches, not the full blouse as that. Is going to stop at the waist. So 20, I added extra 1 inch, that's 21 inches. Here I have the half length of 14 inches plus 1, 15 inches, that's our allowance. Then the underbust is 12, I made it 12.5 allowance. Then the armhole length is 8.5 inches. I added extra 1 inch because I'll still be cutting out the 1 inch on the armhole, so I have my 9.5 inches. So let's rule out the lines. This is 15 inches, which is half length. And we have this is underbust, then this is our armhole, this is our armhole, then this is the full length. Now I'm going to be bringing out the circumference measurements. We have bust circumference measurements divided by 4, that's 8.5. Then I added extra allowance of 2 inches. Then the underbust circumference measurements, divided by 4. Then I added extra 2 inches allowance. So I'm going to connect this. Having done that, I'm going to be taking out the shoulder measurement. So the extra 2 inches that was added, I need to open it up first. Then what I'll be hiding now is the 1 inch zipper allowance. Now the 1-inch allowance has been hidden. Then I'll bring out my shoulder measurements divided by 2, which is 7 inches, plus 1. I'm adding this one because of the bustier blouse. So that's the shoulder divided by 2 plus 1. Then I'll be bringing out a straight line so that I can bring out my my armhole. Then I'm going to take 1 inch, the armhole of 9.5. I need to get the midpoint, and that's about 4.75 inches, so that I can bring out my armhole just like this. Then I'll connect with the 1 inch, like this. If you have your cuff set, your armhole cuff, you can go ahead and use that. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to bring out the dart measurement, and that is 4 inches. Our 1 inch is still hidden, so I'm going to be bringing out the 4 inches like this, which is going to be as the dart measurements. Then on the armhole, I'm going to be taking 4 inches. You can decide to take 3.5, 4, 4.5, depending on what you want. Then I'll be carving it out just like this. And that is going to be the princess dart line. Now, this is our half length and this is our under bust measurement. From the under bust to the nipple point, the measurements for this particular measurement is 3 inches. You can take your measurement because it varies. Yours can be 3.5 or 4 inches. So this is 3 inches from the under bust measurement. And I'm going to be taking 0.25, it's not up to half an inch, 0.25 on that point. That's from the princess dart line. Then from the half length, I'm going to be taking 1.5 inches. The 1.5 inches is taken from the princess dart line to the under bust measurement. Then on the armhole, from the 4 inches I took here, I'll take 1 inch. So that from this line, I'm going to come to the nipple points. I'll stop here. Then from the under bust, I'll stop at the nipple point, just like this. It's going to be a curved shape. Then the same thing from the 1 inch. Then this is going to come straight down. What I'll be cutting now is this line. I'll be cutting all this off. Then on the shoulder still, I'm going to come down by 1 inch, which is going to serve as a shoulder slope. Then the neck width, I'll take 3 inches. You can decide your neck design, your neck width measurement and depth. And the depth, I'll be taking 4.5 inches. So that I can curve it out like this. You can always increase this, and you can always go with your desired neck design. You can go with V, you can go with sweetheart neck, you can go with any neck design. Now, we're going to be cutting out the line, so let me shade it out so we can see properly. This is the length of 21. Now to cut, I'm going to start cutting. Don't forget that 1 inch is still hidden. So I'm going to start cutting like this. This is our princess dart line. first. Then I'm going to be cutting the half length here, the circumference measurements, the armhole, now I'm going to be cutting out the 1.5 inches straight up, then curve it out, then back to the armhole. So we don't need this. Then the neckline, and the shoulder slope. Yeah, so this is what I'm going to be placing on the material. I'm going to be placing it on the material just the way it is to cut. Then on the material, I'm going to be slanting this, but I don't want to slant the paper because I still need this, but I'll be slanting the material. So let's just place all this to cut on our fabric. Now you can see I've placed my pattern to cut it out on the material. Remember to unfold the 1 inch on the pattern before placing it on the fabric to cut. Now, like I said, I'm going to slit the front. To continue with this, I'm going to still use my pattern material. Now, I'll be needing another pattern. Then I'll be placing this on it. This is the middle piece where we cut out the princess dart, and the 1 inch is still hidden. So I'll be placing it on my pattern. This is double pattern. This is 2. So I'll be placing it like this. The length that I need is the 15 inches, which is the half length. So what I'll be doing is cutting out all this from the sides. Having done that, the neck depth, now the neck depth is going to change. I'll be taking down 3 inches. Yours can be 3.5 or depending on your choice, but the width remains the same. I'll be cutting out the same width, but the depth now is 3 inches. Then I'll be cutting it out like this. The next thing I'm going to be doing on this is to get the underbust. If you like, you can still take it up. The underbust length is 12 inches, but I'll be taking mine up to 10 inches so that I can bring out the lapel. This is going to bring out the lapel for the front, so you can stop at whatever measurement you choose. What I'm going to be doing here is to take out 1 inch. I will be taking out 1 inch, 1 inch to the point that 10 inches or your desired measurement. Then I'm going to be slanting from this neckline to meet my 10 inches, just like this. And I'll be tracing it out. So that by the time I fold, you see, this is what I'll be having. So I'm going to place this now on my main fabric to cut. Then I'll be needing two of this each, two of this and two of this, making 4 pieces. Now I've cut out my fabric. Like I said, I'll be needing 4 pieces of this. So the second one will serve as the lining. So I'll be ironing my interface. We have different types of interfacing. We have VFF, we have paper stay, we have gum stay, air stay. So I'm going to be ironing my interface on the material, while this is going to have its own lining as well. This is going to have its lining. I already cut out the lining. The material is serving as the lining for this, but this is going to have its lining. This is going to have its lining, and I'll also be ironing my interfacing as well. Now I'm going to first be joining this. I'm going to start by turning up the neck, then this side to turn. That's what I'll be doing. I'll join this neck, then I'll turn the side on this first. So I said I'll be joining this, and that I have done, which now turning it in, it's like this. Now the next thing I'm going to be doing is the middle parts of the front. Here it is, and here's the lining as well. So the length of the lining I reduced by 1 inch. I reduced the length of the lining by 1 inch. Now what I'm going to be doing is first joining this neck. I'm going to join this neck. After then, I'll bring it down like this to join. I'll pull the lining to join. So let's do that first. Now, like I told us that we need to join, so I have joined this and I top stitched on the material, on the lining. Then I also pulled, remember we reduced 1 inch length, so I pulled to join here, so that when I turn, look at how it is on the inside after turning, because we've reduced 1 inch length. Now from here, I need to measure the length of 15 inches. This is our 15 inches, which I have notched, and I'm going to bring this now, this part, I'm going to place it on it like this, so that I can start joining. Okay, this is for this side. So I'm going to bring this together like this. I'm going to join everything, but before I start joining, this is where my 15 inches stop. So still on the inside like this. This is I'm talking about the side now where we have our princess dart. So I'm going to still continue to join. I will join until I stop at that 15 inches. Just a straight joining. I'll stop. Then I'll turn it out so that I can then place this. Then I'll join this without the lining. I'm not going to hold this lining. I'm going to join the side like this. So all the materials are what I'll be joining, but that will be after first joining like this to this 15 inches. I'll turn it, then place all this material like this to join. I'll join it together, then the lining and the lining for the side. This is the lining for the side. So I'll be joining the lining and the lining together while I join the material and the material. So let's do that. So now the first thing I did was to close this part. This is for the zipper allowance part. So I closed it up first. Then I also closed the point to where the 15 inch. These are 15 inches. So I stopped my joining from here. Then I turned it out like I earlier explained. After turning it out, I then placed this on it like this, so that it will align with the half length, since this is 15 inches length. So after doing that, I placed, this is the side, I placed the side on it as well to join. and I picked the fabrics alone to join, which I have joined this. I have joined this. That's the fabric. I picked the fabric alone to join. Then after joining that, I brought the lining. This is the lining to this side, just like this. So the lining is to be joined this way. So I also joined the lining in this manner so that when I turn, it's going to look just like this. As you can see, I joined the lining on its own and I joined the fabrics on its own. So this is how it's going to look like after joining everything. Now what I'm going to be doing next is to close up this side, but I'll be doing that this way because I need to close in the seam allowance. So I'm going to be joining it like this, then I'll turn it inside out. So whatever I've done here, I'll be joining the same thing on the other side of the fabric. Then I am going to fix the zipper in between this. So I'm going to close it up like this. The zipper will be in between. That's what I'll be doing now. This back, the back remains the same. It's just an half length. I'm going to show you the cutout. The back, I'm going to turn with my lining. Then I'll come back to show you what we do next. All right, now that I've brought out the shape, I am going to trim out the excess on the shoulder. So that the shoulder measurements can be by the exact measurement that I need, which is 14 inches. After doing that, I'm going to turn it inside out. And the base that I have here is 720-degree flay. I'm still going to show us a video on how to cut different types of flare, starting from the single flare. So to join the flare, this is how we're going to go about it. I already have my flare prepared, and joining it is going to be from, as you can see, it's going to be from the half length here, from the half length. So I am going to hold it down like this in such a way that this very one on top will not move, will not be able to open up completely like this. So I'm going to start my joining from this point, then I'll go around, take it to the round, the back, then I'll come back to the other side. That's what I'll be doing now, and it's going to be the last thing to do. I'll come back to show us the final results. And don't forget, if this is your first time on our channel, kindly click the subscribe and the bell button to get updates anytime I upload a new video. And you can also go ahead and fix whatever type of sleeve you choose to fix on this. So till I see you.